Deflation. The key thing about renewable energy is that it is inherently deflationary. That deflationary dynamic, I think, is actually the most important one now, because if you compare today's situation with 2008, 2009, the last time we had an economic shock and an oil price shock of this magnitude, we are in an entirely different situation. The competitiveness of renewables today is so much greater than it was in 2008, 2009. And I feel this debate would have been very relevant back then, but today we are beyond reimagining.
One of the challenges of moving to low carbon choices has always been the high returns, of the traditional hydrocarbons. And perhaps now the difference between the two is somewhat diminished.
Logically, we might think that the low oil price means that renewables will fare better as less hydrocarbons are produced. But perversely, I actually believe it will have a negative effect. It's going to make wind, solar and bioproducts much less competitive against hydrocarbons, even for power generation. I also think that in the small cap space, we'll undoubtedly be seeing multiple consolidations, possibly or probably even a delisting for a number of companies may be the best option. There's no point in carrying the burden and the cost of the G in ESG if you can't access public money in the market.
In general terms, the wealth that modern societies use to create well-being and comfort, and indeed resilience in the face of things like health crises, comes from an abundance of cheap energy. For us to be worried about what the world looks like in 30 or 50 years' time, we have to ensure that we can actually get there. The net result is that we will see a supply shortfall which could occur within 1, 2, 3 years' time. Then we will see a far worse scenario. That is very high energy costs at a time of economic stress. And at that point, real politics will kick in. Whilst politicians talk the talk, and indeed some extent walk the walk on the energy transition, they all recognise that fundamentally we need stability and growth.
I think CCS is a technology that's probably missed its window for large-scale deployment globally. It was a big debate 12 years ago. Renewables have fallen in cost so much over the last 12 years that CCS is exactly the kind of technology where capex will be cut back, but you won't be cutting back as much in renewables.
Mark mentioned that carbon capture has kind of missed the boat. Unfortunately, the government don't believe that at the moment. They're investing a huge amount of money in trying to promote carbon capture into the future, and I think it will still be part of the debate going forwards, but of course derailed by the current situation.
I think really what we're really getting to here is the question of the trade-off between cost and decarbonisation. We clearly have some different points of view, which was part of the intention of having a debate.